Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to week number 7 of the 1 Week 1 Prep. 1 Week 1 Prep is a series of episodes where we're tackling emergency preparedness 1 week at a time. So in today's episode, guys, we're going to be talking dirty. And no, not that kind of dirty, but the dirty for some reason many people choose to ignore or really not talk about it that much. And I'm really surprised why. Considering, guys, as a preppers we know that we cannot live without water for about 3 days, without the food for 3 weeks, but sanitation is very, very important, and believe this or not, that things can turn really sour within a matter of days if you have lack of sanitation. So this is why, guys, in today's video, we're going to be covering exactly that. To some of you, it might be self-explanatory. Of course, we need certain things, and chances are, majority of the time, you'll have those things already lying at home. But there will be certain scenarios when you need to think a little bit outside the box and potentially also have a little bit more than you have as the average stockpile. Because I think people really underestimate the amount of things or potential scenarios. So for example, you can wake up one morning and there's no water. That's absolutely fine. We can already cover the water and water preparedness. But at the same time, guys, you can wake up to the situation there's no water, the toilets are not running, and potentially there's no bin collection. So that means you're going to be sitting on the waste with no working toilet and no water. Just imagine that kind of situation. Are you actually ready? What would you do? So guys, in today's episodes, that's exactly what we're going to be covering. Of course, if you do follow my channel and, in fact, one week, one prep series, you know that all of my episodes do come with the little printable informations that are on my website. It gives you somewhat a weekly challenges or things you should be doing if you want to be prepared. So by the end of the course, you'll be more prepared than 90% of the people in this country. So again, some of you might wonder why everybody makes such a big deal about the personal hygiene, because yes, you think, of course, you have some wet wipes, hand wipes, that sort of thing. You might think that will get you out of the situation, but if we're talking about the prolonged times without a proper hygiene, it could really, really wreak chaos. So, for example, right, the history already shown many examples of people dying of dysentery and things like that. So, for example, I'm going to give you a list of the diseases that spread in a poor sanitation. This is not for any more information, for any more reason, guys, just for the information for you to understand. There is more than just one thing that's out there they'll get you if the sanitation is really poor. So first thing, we've got the cholera, which is linked to contaminated water and caused by deadly dehydration. But E. coli and salmonella, we already heard of that, which is a food and water contamination that causes the upset stomachs and basically a food poisoning. So you end up also being dehydrated as well. Hepatitis A, so it spreads through dirty hands and contaminated food. Dysentery, severe diarrhea. Obviously, we know what dysentery is, spread through the feces matter. So if you don't wash your hands properly, obviously things end up being everywhere. You got the idea. Skin infections like impetigo, okay, it's a fungal infection, again, with a lack of washing, lack of hygiene, and it's all spread as well. And even basic things like a common cold gets spread really quickly if your sanitation is not up to scratch. So you can see already there's loads and loads of things that are out there. And you know what? People often get things like E. coli and salmonella by mishandling or not washing their hands properly. It happens all the time. So it is very, very important. So again, in front of me, I do have a small selection of things. This is, of course, not all of them, but a full list will be available on the website. And of course, guys, I'm pretty sure you're going to be suggesting some things as well. So as in the printables, right, the information. So we're talking about the soap, okay? Soap is, I think, probably should be number one. And yes, you can go for the liquid soap, but if you're prepping or stocking up for long term, the bars of soap are much, much cheaper and they'll last you far longer. So if you are lacking potentially space, the soap is really, really good idea. Don't forget as well, of course, guys, water. But again, we'll come back to this towards the end of the video. But soap, it should be number one thing. Of course, there are things like the hand sanitizers, and yes, they are acceptable in certain scenarios. Again, there could be many different scenarios where certain things are working, certain things that don't. But hand sanitizers are okay. It will disinfect your hands, but unfortunately, it doesn't wash off the dirt, the debris. So you still have to consider that. So we're talking about then the toilet paper, tissues, reusable cloths. I don't have, toilet paper here. So basically, it's a basic understanding, right? I buy, and I mentioned this before, the commercial size rolls. I find that they last far longer. Yes, you have to outlay a little bit more initially, but they do last quite a bit longer. And if you consider buying the ones that don't have the core, they're the ones going to commercial machines that you pull them out from the side. When you come towards the end of the the roll, there's a really thin middle core, if you wish, over that paper, which is really, really good for your grab bags, go bags, get home bag. It makes it absolutely ideal. So this is the reason why I choose to have those kind of rolls. So of course, we're talking about the sanitary products for ladies. We all know what it is. Buckets and bin bags. Okay, so of course, we're talking about the toilets not flushing or potentially not working for one reason or the other, but you can use the toilet. So a lot of people suggest is to line your toilet with a bin bag. And I strongly would disagree with that, because have you ever tried taping a bin bag to your toilet? You understand there is still water inside your toilet, inside there. Chances are it will be smelling as well. To me, this is a bad idea. But anyway, the options are there if this is what you want to do. Alternatively, people suggesting again the buckets and the bin bag. So you create yourself basically a toilet. So you will line your buckets with the bin bag, do your business, tie it up, and then dispose of the matter, well, outside temporary until the waste collection resumes, if it does. Again, it's a good idea for total emergency, but again, I assure you, if any of you ever tried this, trying to go in a bucket and see how easy is that for you to produce, if I shall say. I've grown up on the country, okay, and I was very, very young, and there was the days where the country houses in the middle of nowhere haven't had the outside amenities. So basically at the night time, as a kid, if I needed to go up and do the business, you have to do this over the bucket. And I can assure you it wasn't easy then, and I can assure you certainly would not be easy now as we get older. So the really, really best option, guys, is to buy yourself a commode. We're talking about this for a little bit more of a hardcore preppers, because buckets are great, and so many times you can do certain things outside without going into the details. But I understand that, guys, right? Just trying to understand where I'm coming from. All the information out there, it is great. Yes, this is very easy to do this in a bucket, to do this in a toilet, but there are things that you have to think about. So idea is great. Implementation of those things might not be as great. So please do consider. You can pick up a commode for approximately £60. It's a bit easier. You can sit down, you can still put the bag inside it. It's happy days. So whilst I'm on this subject, and I'm sorry guys, it got to be said, we have to be talking about this because we gotta know. It's not good to prepare for everything else, and then when this happens and we can't really deal with the hygiene situations because nobody talks about it, there it is, we're doing that. So anyway, right, I've mentioned those sachets, guys. I have them in one of our family 72-hour emergency bags. They're little powdery sachets, so when you do line your bucket or commode with the bin bag, you sprinkle this, okay, and they basically absorb the liquid, okay, and it becomes a gel. It's not, of course, necessary if you do have an option of pouring stuff outside, but obviously the implications with that, with the smells as well. Nonetheless, there's an option for those things there if you live in the flats. It's just there, and I think they're really, really good. Of course, as well, is the cat litter. Many people suggest the cat litter because it is very absorbent. It works really well. Again, it's brilliant. It definitely works really, really well because I've got cats. I use that all the time. But of course, it is rather bulky. So we're talking about, again, people forget is how many times do you have to do this? How many people do you have? So if you imagine like one bag of that cat litter, it looks a lot, but if you say 3 or 4 of you in the family, that bag will be probably gone in a day, if maybe 2 maximum. But you can see the amount of things you have to stock to make sure you cater for the eventualities and the time it will take. So of course we're talking about the bleach and other disinfectant for the surfaces. So we've got the bleach in here, anything that sprays, anything that you clean. When you handle things, okay, you want to make sure, of course, that the surfaces are clean wherever you are. Things like we've got the baby wipes, I've got body wipes, baby wipes, bum wipes, face wipes. There is a lot of, and the hand wipes somewhere, not here. Sorry, but yes, there's a lot of wipes out there, okay? And they are very inexpensive. If you have a look, I mentioned them, they are brilliant. The camping wipes, 2 massive wet towels. They're 99p. I think they're now getting superseded in Home Bargains because it's no longer the season. I will for you, but they're really, really wet. They are brilliant. Baby wipes, ideally pure water wipes or the ones without any addition of anything else. Again, they're fairly cheap. If you go for a supermarket brand, they're like 47p, and there's quite a lot of them. You know, again, bum wipes of whatever brand you choose. Face wipes, Home Bargains do them 2 for £1, so it's 50p each. It is absolutely bargain. So you can see there's a whole selection of those things out there. Again, some of you might worry if you're stocking up of those kind of things, they eventually dry out. They generally have a couple of years of date on them. They do dry out, especially during the summer. If it's a bit warmer, they will eventually get dry. But, okay, you can actually open them up, okay, pour a little bit of water on them, make sure they're all soaking in, and they'll be absolutely fine to use again. So it's not like you guys are going to be wasting any money. If they eventually dry, you don't use them, put the water in it, they're absolutely fine. You only will require just a little bit of water to get them all rehydrated. So of course, and last one, guys, I've got the disposable gloves and face mask for the reason of more so dealing with waste and the smell, decent face mask, and of course single-use disposable gloves wouldn't go amiss. So now, of course, we've got the usual things, guys, so like deodorants, toothpaste, toothbrushes, everything they use on a daily basis. Of course, shower gels, that kind of thing is a bit awkward because obviously if there's no running water. Things like dry shampoo is really good. A bit pricey, but again, I think the cleanliness for the morale when things are really going sour is absolutely paramount. You'd be surprised what a little bit of cleanliness will do if the things are really, really bad out there. And of course, guys, we're talking about the food preparations. So it's not just all about the personal hygiene and keeping ourselves clean. Of course, we're talking about the food as well. You got to be cooking food, or at least warming up food or eating food. And if there's no running water, then, well, how on earth are you going to be washing up your plates? You can collect some rainwater, understandable, you can wash that, but do you really want to be wasting the valuable resources of water into washing the dishes? I would say probably not. So things like disposable plates and forks and knives. So I've been using the bamboo ones because they're stronger, because we used to go take them camping, but the paper plates will do better. They're much cheaper and they're compostable as well. And of course, the forks and knives, the wooden ones, they are also compostable. They last okay. You can use them a couple of times if you really have to, but generally you can compost them thereafter. So again, you don't have to worry about anything else like that. So this is kind of, guys, the nutshell of the things you should be having. So when we come back again and talking about the amounts, okay, it's well and good, of course, yes, having 1 pack of this, 1 pack of that, 1 pack of that. But again, please do consider, okay, the size of your family, because again, as I said this earlier, people do very much underestimate certain things. This is where sometimes the dry runs of certain scenarios really help you to understand how much of the things you need. So for example, as I said, let's, doing your normal business, say going to, to the toilet type thing, just think how many people in the family you have, like children as well. We're talking, count the times, okay, and count the times and how many times you then have to wash your hands or wipe your hands and do, wipe your bum, that sort of thing. It kind of all adds up. So where you think potentially, pack of wet wipes of 40, you think, oh my God, they'll last me for months. Chances are it probably won't. So do please consider that. So now, right, talking about the our little challenges. And it's very difficult, guys, sorry, to call it really a challenge. This is one of those things that you should have at least some of those things in your pantry anyway, or in your cupboards, in your stockpile, whatever you call it. But obviously the understanding of the amount you need and what you need extra, it's a good thing. So for example, for beginners, guys, if you're really starting out, because if you don't have kids, you might not have the bum wipes and the water wipes. So it's something for you to consider. So for example, start, buy yourself extra couple bars of soap. So if you never buy soap or you only use liquid soap, then buy a few of the bars of soap. You can pick them up for pennies in the Home Bargains and the supermarkets at the bottom. They're very, very cheap. So add an extra pack of toilet roll maybe to put away if you haven't already. I'll be surprised if anybody still left in the country that doesn't have a spare toilet roll or two in the back of a cupboard somewhere, but I could be wrong. Right, so pick up multi-purpose disinfectant or bleach. Again, a spare one to put in your box. If you wanted to, you can create an emergency sanitation box. If you do, again, pick up one of the wipes. Just buy one of those cheap ones, maybe 50p, because I understand, right? The money's got a lot to do with that. The preparedness, it does cost money. It's inevitable. When you buy things extra, it's going to cost you. So just pick up a 50p cheap pack, put this away. Right, so bin bags. Keep a spare roll of the bin bags. That's absolute must. And as I said earlier, create yourself a small hygiene box where things are in one place. So you can start small, get your little box, even a bag, all right, and just put in next time you go shopping to Home Bargains, Tesco's, whatever you go, pick up a bar of soap, 37p, pick up face wipes, 50p, just put them in there. Okay, just start building up your supplies as you go. And of course, for the advanced preppers, again, it is very difficult to know where you live, what you do, what you have, but the camping toilet or composting toilet or the commode. So I understand the composting toilet, it's a bit of a push out there, but a lot of people that do have land do really consider building themselves a composting toilet, and they are a really, really good idea. But of course, you have to be using them outside. So if you do prepare or want to prepare to live off grid, this is a really good thing to have. Alternatively, one of the porta potty type things, the ones that you buy basically when you go camping, we've got 2 of them, 1 in each van. Take them when we go camping. They're great. Yes, you have to buy chemicals for them to be able to deal with the stuff inside, but they are really, really good thing to consider. A little bit pricey, but I think they are absolutely winner because you can have them inside. It's all clean, it's all sanitary, you don't get the smells from that. It's all kind of flashable, it's all really good. And of course the commode, there will be the another option if you wanted to go down that route. Of course, we've got the storing extra water for the personal hygiene. Okay, and again, it's not really applicable just for the experienced preppers. This should be something that you'll be doing as well if you're just starting. But again, we did cover this in the week number 1 when we talked about water and actually saying how much water you actually do need for the personal hygiene. And also consider, right, rather than for experienced preppers, guys, rather than just stocking up, say, the bottled water, big bottles of water, consider a way of dispensing that water. We've got one of the pump taps, which I should have showed you. Basically, put a hole in the lid. There's a little hose goes down there. It is powered, but it honestly lasts for like 6 months to a year. You press the button and it pumps the water and it dispenses you a little bit of water. Because what you really don't want to do is trying to wash your hands and you waste like 2-3 liters of water just by washing hands because somebody holding the water over your hands. So this is something for you to consider if you haven't. I will try to remember to put the link for that tap down in the description so you can have a look. They're very, very inexpensive, but they're really, really worth the money. So next thing for you guys, for experienced preppers, maybe stock up on long-term items like the powdered soap and concentrated bleach tablets. Again, this is kind of thinking a little bit of the outside the box. We all know the bleach does lose its properties eventually over the few years, but you can buy bleach tablets. You can fit, I bought a box for about £10, I think. You've got like 50 of bleach tablets. They're really, really small. So basically put them in the water, they just dissolve and it gives you bleach water, if that makes sense. And they do have really, really long date on them as well. Also, for you experienced guys, maybe build yourself a portable hygiene kit to go into your bag out bags or get home bags. I know chances are you already might have certain things, but again, consider adding on a small bar of soap, like I showed in the previous episode, maybe extra few different wipes. Just consider things you can improve your little bag. And the last one, guys, maybe explore reusable hygiene items, things like the reusable washing cloth or little bidet bottles, basically anything that's, again, gets you thinking outside the box and something that you could reuse time and time again. So there we are. As I said, guys, all of that information will be available on my website, which is there under the 1 week 1 prep. Again, all the previous episodes are there, so if you haven't watched them, you're able to catch up either on my website or on the YouTube. But otherwise, guys, I do hope you find this video helpful. Please don't forget to comment down below any other maybe suggestions for things that people should be having. If I miss them, of course, please comment down below and help the community. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, thumbs up, subscribe if not a subscriber, and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.